words can't even encompass what it means to be this guy's brother and the love that we have for one another. I'm just going to talk about two specific things that come to mind to me that talks about the essence of the man that Lucius is. 14 years ago, about this time of year, my daughter was in Virginia, and she had a blood clot. And boy, I was when I got the news, I was shaken, and so I went to Lou. I said, Amber's sick, and I was thinking about a flight to get there, the whole 9 yards, and he said, let's go. Within an hour on the road, traveling however many hours, 12, 14 hours.
Yeah, because I got lost when we were going down. I made the wrong turn. It was a little longer.
But within an hour on the road, going to see about my baby. And our relationship was already wonderful, but that was just the true essence of what it means. Love is expressed in deed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and for him to just drop everything, and so we went and got my daughter, and so the rest is history as it pertains to that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was
His daughter is not president of the Realtors. And I got to say this. I remember when he had a bunch of ideas of what to do for his daughter when she came into the Realtors is a real estate trade organization. And I remember Deborah said to him, leave her alone, she's going to be fine. And because he had ideas, we both had ideas about how to bring her along, and she said she'll be just fine. And so I thank you for that. Now she found her own way, and now she's president of the Realtors.
No, I'm not as well. That's awesome. And then secondly, and this revolves a significant portion of my life in conjunction with my spiritual life is my relationship with the Realtors, because it's an extended family for me. So 2012, end of 2012, we had a president that was serving and ran into some challenges, and she couldn't serve. So we had a meeting, and they were looking around to see who could step up to take. She had a 2-year term. The remaining, the last year, the first year, finished the first year, and then prepared to do the second year. And I distinctly remember I said, well, I thought about the scripture that says, I prepared for a time such as this. And so as we went around the room, I said, okay, Lord, this is my time. And it had been 30 years since I served as a local board president. And but the Lord had me prepared, and I stepped in, and just to show you how God works and how things work, a couple of things happened as a consequence of that. One, when I took on the president of the Realtors at that time, I'd also had 2 or 3 other significant business ventures I was a part of. And so it's like stretched in like 10 different directions. So I went to Lucius and I said, hey, it's time for us to get serious about the Better Way process. And as of November of that year, we locked in again with him. And we'd sit down every Monday, and we spend 2.5 hours before this meeting. And every time we report back, everything on that list was done. And it got to a point where things went so smooth that I had more responsibility than I ever had in my lifetime. But it was easy. Because there was a connection. He was able to help me in the sense of you got all these things on your plate, but in the overall scheme of things, it's a part of who you are. It's an extension of who you are, and that's the way I kind of feel about it. And then to continue that story, April of that year, I'm now president of the Realtors, and I've got an agenda. I went out and put together some significant boards, and it's a lot of things that I had in mind to help move the organization to where I thought we could go. We're sitting in So April of that year, anyway, I don't go to in April of that year is when I found out how sick he truly was. I didn't know it. We had the conversation, and I know I encouraged him to go to the hospital, which is what he did. And that's when they found out he had kidney failure, and his life was at stake. And when Lucius went to the hospital, all these thoughts and plans and ideas I had for how I could help move the organization, it became truly insignificant. The business of A.J. Lewis and Associates became insignificant. So for about a 3-month time frame, he was out of the loop, I was out of the loop. And to show you how God works, we didn't miss a beat. One of the things that God did in his preparation is he had about $30,000 worth of business as he was sick that he took care of. So he had like $30,000 in the hopper, which took him to the end of the year. And everything, all that closed. But more importantly, as an office, we never missed a beat. And the last thing is the dynamics of what's important changed, because within a few months of him getting sick, my mom also got sick. So I'm like stretched in about 1 million different directions. So anyway, to close the story, back to the realtors part of it, I had an epiphany. So I had already gone to a midwinter conference in San Diego, and then I went to a national conference in August of that year. An epiphany that came over me was, you serve, your time is, it's what you're to do is you're to prepare the soil for those to come after you, and make it, prepare it in a way that you got to move some other people out of the way to prepare the soil. And so when I came back, my mindset was, and I established it early on in the board meetings, we got to prepare, and that's when we prepared and brought Akil on as the president. But the major thing was myself, Roland, Henry, a lot of us old hats, all of us on the board. I said, hey, we've got to move aside and let these young, technologically advanced people take this organization and move it to the next level. And that's what we did, you know. And it, as with most things, it's not easy when people are firmly implanted in a position. You think you want to move on and allow things to happen, but when you're really faced with it, you find you really aren't. And so I call it a reverse coup, where I did it where it didn't bruise people's egos or anything, but I did it in a way that it was absolutely clear that we're moving from where we are. We're going to do, even if it doesn't work, we're going to do something different. And so anyway, the overt manifestation of that was when we went to our state conference this week. We got the Realtors chapter of the year, so my daughter got awarded as the president. And the significant piece of that whole thing was we did something we'd never done the whole time. In fact, we did something we'd never done in the whole time that I've been involved with the Realtors, and that's over 30 years. We teamed up with Radio 1, and we teamed up with the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. And we had 2,000 people that signed up to attend the homebuyer workshop. Wow. We got 2,000 names that her and someone else is working to get out to the organization, so we can all go make some money. But again, it's as a consequence of this guy encouraging me, helping me to see the bigger picture, and then propping and stepping in and saying, it's truly been a wonderful thing. It's truly been wonderful that we still have the ability to connect. And in fact, until he got sick this last time, from that time, the only time we didn't meet was when he wasn't physically capable of being here, because he helps to provide just the overall direction for wherever it is that's going on. And those are the encouraging aspects of it. And just our love for ourselves.
Yeah, we went to see my mother yesterday.
Yeah.
And so that's always encouraging. She's at
McGregor Nursing Home.
McGregor Nursing Home, yeah. Like that. A couple of things came to mind as I was listening to the different experiences, particularly, I can remember when Am Amber was a little girl, and she and Lionel, I was living in East Cleveland on Newberry over in Forest Hills at that time. I remember they were in the yard playing, and they were doing some leaves, you know, the leaves that fall from the tree in the fall and stuff. And they were out there playing. I was saying, man, look at that. Yeah, I look at the love that his father has for his daughter and his daughter has for him. That's been one of the significant things in my life, to see that kind of connection. And so that was phenomenal. And they were just playing the leaves and stuff, so it was great, you know. Another thing that happened was, I remember one time Amber was sitting like right over here where Sharon is sitting, and I was doing a session with her and her best friend, Laisha. They've been like sisters all their lives. And she said, I figured out what it is that you do with this Better Way stuff. She said, you speak life into people. So she said, you know, the real estate is a vehicle that you use. This is okay. She said, but that's not really what you do. It's that better way. You speak life and you help people to see how great they really are. And I go back to when they were in junior high school, and I went to Shaker Heights, and I remember going there. And after I left, I think she and Alicia's, they said, he talked more than Martin Luther King.